Yeah, I mean, that's the real purpose, right? Is getting people to do something. We don't just want to give them the what, we want to get them to the why, or here's what you should do about it. I think of it like the three if I's, right? You're gonna use your data to simplify it. So you're gonna take a lot of complex things and boil it down to what you most want them to know. And then you're going to justify it, right? You're going to use the data to say, here's what I want you to do. And this is why I'm giving you the action. You're not just giving them a bunch of PowerPoint slides and saying, decide what you want to with this. You're saying, here's what it is. And then you justify, here's what I need you to do based upon all this evidence that I'm giving you. And then the part where the story comes in is amplifying it, saying, here's how this makes a difference in a broader perspective. Here's what we can do if you take this action. And so I think when you think about how to drive action, that's what you do. You got to boil it down to what the main thing is. Then you have to think about what do you want them to do with the main thing, and then start to say what's the opportunity once we get to that. I think that can be done in really simple ways. And I gave you a news example because that's my background and my love when I talked about the New York Times. But let's take an example of a corporation, a multi-million-dollar international biotech organization, and they had an idea that their board was saying. They were saying everything we do for the next 3 years is going to focus on innovation. We want to drive innovation. We want to see where innovation is happening. So they said, we are going to, as the board of this company, and think about the boards that you know, these are very accomplished um, people who've done very well for themselves and are guiding the company. They said, we want to hear where innovation is happening on all levels of the company. And then we want them to present to us at the board. So I was brought in as someone to coach the people who would be presenting to the board. And the first people they picked were line managers from a manufacturing facility. And the moment that they found out that they were being tapped to tell the story of the innovation they had done, they said, no, thank you. We do not want to appear before the board because what if we don't do well? What if we make a mistake? What if they think what we did wasn't that big of a deal? Um, this is not an opportunity we want to grab onto. And the folks who were pinpointing them said, no, you're exactly right. We need to do this. And so my job was helping them say, how do we drive action? How do we show the board that we're doing really good things in this particular manufacturing facility that could be replicated at our facilities across the world? So what they had come up with was a way to basically simplify their line manufacturing. They said we took a lot of work, we did a lot of research, we talked to all of our people, and we found a way to get it done faster, cheaper, better, safer, fewer mistakes. So how do you show that, right? We could have done a lot of different Excel spreadsheets or PowerPoint or now AI generated graphs that could have shown that. But I said, how tell me how you could really show this. And they said, we wish we could just show you what it was like to take a product through the process before and what it's like now. And I said, well, couldn't we basically? So we took an iPhone and, basically walked through what the old process was like and recorded it. And then they did it again. And then we did a time lapse. And so when they were talking to the board and saying, here's how we changed what we did, here's how we innovated, what you saw going across was the old way and the new way. And the old way kept going and the new way stopped here. And they said, this is where the innovation was. In that gap is where we've saved you this much money, this much product safety, this much efficacy, this much time. And this is why we believe that we're doing things right. And what happened was the board stopped the presentation and said, wait, let us understand, is this what we just saw? And they said, yes. And they said, we want to stop and just give you a standing ovation. And they ended up implementing that in other facilities around the world, in doing more of these kind of presentations. Other people who had come up with ideas that got patents got a bonus on the spot. Other people really raised their profile. And even just these two who got it started and got that standing ovation were able to go back to their manufacturing facility and say, our board knows about us. They know what we've done. They believe in us. We got to keep doing it.